train the dog to be able to guide the person. So if a blind person came in with this dog and the person was walking around Carmella forward, then they wouldn't walk right into Stephen's back. Right? Yes. Oh, sorry. Sit. Because the dog would stop and sit, just like she's doing. So then the blind person wouldn't step in front and get hurt. No, Paul, can you get the book out? Wolf, sit. I'm going to tell you a story about the very first seeing eye dog that there ever was. Okay, a long time ago, Gayla and Kiss. And they were German Shepherds, just like Carmella is. And it was lots of German Shepherds. And she would train them to do different things. How many of you have ever seen on TV a police dog? Raise your hand. Seen a police dog, or maybe you've seen a picture of one? Or how about a rescue dog? And here, where's the boat picture? So he got on the boat, and he sailed back to America from Switzerland. And when he got off the boat, there were lots and lots of reporters waiting there. Because they had heard about him. And one of the reporters, they were like, he thinks that his dog is so good. Well, you know what? We're just going to see. We're going to give him a test. So he said, I dare you to cross West Street. Now, West Street was really, really, really busy. How many of you have ever seen a busy road? Yeah, are you allowed to cross that road by yourself? No. Oh, great. Well, Morris Frank didn't know that that road was so busy. It was twice as big as all the other roads in the little village in Switzerland. But he didn't know that, so he said, sure, my dog can do that. My dog can take me. So he started and he said, Buddy, forward. And Buddy walked him across, and his spokesman kept the dog for a year, and then we have to give it back. And so then the dog gets trained some more. Just like how some people go to college after high school, it's sort of like it's the college for the dog. We've had to grow. We practice some things. And we have this time that we call circle time. We had a meeting this Wednesday, and we had 17 dogs. Oh! And Carmella forward. And we had to teach them commands like this. Carmella forward. And we walk in a big circle. Carmella forward. And then someone in the center called sit. And we have to say, Carmella, sit. What a good girl! Can you make her take my pencil? No, we don't teach them commands like that. Carmella forward. And we do that a lot of times. Carmella, sit. Girl, we have to teach them down. I'm not sure she'll do down. She doesn't really like that one. Well, down. Good girl. Carmella, sit. What a good girl. And we have to teach them rest. Rest is like stay. How many of you teach your dog to stay at home? I can. I don't. Yeah, I can. I have 2 dogs. Okay, just need you guys to raise your hands. So what we do is we say rest instead of stay. Excuse me? And they flip the dog and have them all after them. Excuse me? My dog sits in my lap. Our dogs aren't, we have some special rules with our dogs. We can't give our dogs any peace. And if she was being loud, then they wouldn't be able to hear on the phone. So that's why I'm trying to get her to quiet down. Quiet down. Good girl. And so I already told you that I'm training her to be a guide, the seeing eye dog. Can anyone tell me what blind is? What's blind?
When you cannot see very well.
When you can't see, correct. Can everybody close their eyes for me for a second? Close your eyes. What do you see when you close your eyes?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? Okay, you just gonna open your eyes now. And you couldn't see anything. Do you think it would be hard if you had never been in this room and you walked in and you couldn't see anything? I think maybe you would bump into Vinny's desk, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you would. Or maybe Brandon's desk, because you wouldn't know where you were going and you wouldn't be able to see. Right, or your desk. And so you wouldn't be able to see, and you would maybe get hurt, maybe you would trip, maybe you would fall. And so it can be very hard for a blind person, because they can't really see. So what they do is there's some different things that blind people can use, but one of the things that they can use is a guide dog to guide them around. we train them to do. And so it's Carmella's not fully trained yet. She has to go to college still, sort of, and to learn how to be a full guide dog. And so, but she knows some things, and if she were fully trained, then she would be able to guide a blind person around in here, because you know what, if I went to walk into Brandon's desk, Carmella would sit and stop so that I wouldn't be able to walk into her. To walk into the desk, because she would sit and stop me. And there's lots of other different things. The seeing eye trains them to stop at corners, quiet on the street, and to stop from going downstairs and different things like that, so that the blind person can be kept safe. And so, how many of you have ever maybe seen a picture of a guide dog? And you have? I have some pictures in my book that I brought that I can show you guys. That's a picture of a German Shepherd.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy. And I'm not sure if you guys have this book in your school library. I don't know. This book, when I was in kindergarten, my teacher got this book, and she read it to me. And that's when I first learned about seeing eye dogs and how you could raise guide dogs. And I wanted to do that, but you have to be in 4th grade or be 9 years old to raise a guide dog. And so I went home and I went running home like, Mom, I want to get a guide dog. But I had to wait until I was in 4th grade, and I actually didn't start raising guide dogs until I was in 5th. Yes, until I was in 5th grade. And so that's a German Shepherd, and I have a German Shepherd here. But the seeing eye also uses golden retrievers, like that one on the cover. How many of you have ever seen a golden retriever?
I have one at my house.
And have you ever seen we have a lot of Labradors here today. Labrador retrievers? There's a lab. What the seeing eye did was they tried lots and lots and lots of different breeds. There's a German Shepherd. There's a Labrador. I don't know why there's not in the picture here. And they even tried using a poodle to be a guide dog. I don't know where they got that idea, but they tried using a poodle, and it didn't work that well. They picked the 3 best breeds that were good at their job, that were good at guiding. I'm trying to find you guys a better picture of it. There's a lab. Rest. Pictures, you can see the harness on the dog. Is Carmella wearing a harness?
No.
No, she isn't. When she's with us, we never use a harness on her. We never use a harness on her. We only use the leash. And that's because you have to go through a lot of special training to learn how to train a guide dog. We just teach her basic commands. Did you see how I told her to rest? And how she's staying right there? Well, that's a command that we're teaching her. And we taught her down, which she is demonstrating so very good here, laying down. And we have to teach her sit and forward. And if she ever gets up, then I'll show you some of those commands that we have to train with her. But so we take her, she's pretty big now, but when we first got her, she was only 7 weeks old, and she was like this big. She was really cute and little. And actually there's a picture of a puppy in here. And she had floppy ears, because her ears are standing up now, but rest. Here's a picture of a puppy. Kind of outdated carpet, but that's okay. And do you think that they could put a harness on that little tiny puppy?
No.
No, right? So that's why they give us the dolls, and we, to different 4-H families. And
Would that be the one that from that one?
it's not her, but it looks a lot like her. Sort of. She was cuter. And so we get them when they're about 7 weeks old, and we're going to keep her until she's about 12 months old. How many months is that? Like, what's another word for 12 months?
12
years. A year, right. It's 1 year. So if she's about 6 months now, can you guys tell me if there's 12 months in a year, do you know how many months we have left with Carmella? It's 12 minus 6. What's 12 minus 6? Oh! 5. Close, it's 6. That was a really good try, though. And so we're going to have her about 6 more months. And then she's going to go back to the Seeing Eye, where that man's from. He's a trainer at the Seeing Eye. And I'm not sure if he's there anymore. This book is kind of old. And so she's going to go back, and she has, how many of you take a test? Have you ever had to take a test in school? Yeah? Brendan, have you taken a test? Yeah. What about you, Sammy? Have you ever taken, yeah, you took a test. Well, she's going to have to go through 3 major tests. The first one is she's going to have to pass a physical. She's going to get checked over by a doctor. Does anyone know the name, what an animal doctor's name is?
A vet?
A vet, right. She's going to get checked all over by a vet because she's going to have to do a ton of walking. So they have to make sure that she's going to be able to walk and that she's not going to get hurt. And so she has to pass a really hard medical test by the vet. And then also she has to go through training like this man is doing on here. And so she has to learn commands like sit, down, come, rest. Rest is like stay. And she has to do all that. Look what he's training her dog. And that's pretty much what we teach them. But he also has to teach her what they call intelligent disobedience.
Oh, he's staying quiet.
Yeah. And that's a really kind of hard term, intelligent disobedience. What do you think that might mean? What does it mean to obey?
Obey your rules.
Right, obey the rules. What does that mean? Does that mean that you break all of them?
No.
No, it means that you listen to them, right? Well, intelligent, what does it mean to be intelligent? That's a really long word, I don't know.
To be very smart.
To be very smart, right. So if it's called intelligent disobedience means you break the rules, right, when you disobey? Well, it means that like let's say I told Carmella forward and she was a full guide dog and I was blind, and it would have walked me right into Brandon's desk. And so Carmella would sit, and then that would be breaking the rule, right? I told her forward and she didn't listen. But it's called intelligent disobedience because she was smart enough to realize that if I walk forward, she's going to get hurt. So that's what it means by intelligent disobedience. And that is really hard for a dog to learn. So a dog has to be really smart to pass the test. And they have one that's like halfway through their training, and then they have another one at the end. And if she passes all those tests, then we have what we call a town walk. After she's a year old, we don't get to see her or pet her or touch her ever again. She goes back to the Seeing Eye, and then we have, if she passes all of her tests, they do what they call a town walk, and she's in full harness, and we have to walk really far behind them. Like, if Carmella and her trainer were up here, like someone like that, we did this one with another Seeing Eye dog that we had, Olga. We had to be even farther back than here, so that then she wouldn't get distracted by seeing us, because she still kind of knows who we are, but she might get distracted and not be able to do her job. If your mom or dad got distracted while they were driving the car, would that be good?
No.
No, what could happen?
Crash.
You could crash, right, and someone could get hurt. So it's really important that we make sure that the guide dog doesn't get distracted by us. And so then we get to watch her. When we went to see Olga was actually, it's Carmella's mom that we raised, Olga. And so there was a tree in the middle of the sidewalk, like that was planted there, and there's like the sidewalk on both sides of it. And instead, she told Carmella forward, her trainer, but Carmella didn't walk her right into the tree. Carmella was smart. Olga was smart. We've had so many different names. I'm getting off confused. I'm sorry. So far we've raised Saber, who was a black lab golden retriever mix, so he wasn't a purebred. He wasn't just a lab or just a golden retriever. Like that one, he was mixed, so his coat was kind of ruffly, but he was all black. And he didn't really like being a Seeing Eye dog. He didn't like his job. And so he didn't make the Seeing Eye program. But how many of you have ever seen on TV maybe the police dogs? I know you guys saw police dogs today, or the dogs that sniff for drugs, or the rescue dogs. Yeah, a lot of you have. And so that's what Saber is, what they call a customs dog. And so he searches on the Texas-Mexico border, and
Catch the top one up with it. That's it.
Saber, he got a different job. Saber's right along in here, and he checks out and he sniffs cars to see if people are like smuggling in drugs or something into the country, because he didn't want to be a seeing eye dog. So they don't just like put them in a pound or send them to the kennel or something if they don't make it. They try and find them other jobs, or they go to different families. Can you raise your hand if you have a dog at home? Do any of you have a dog? Yes, some of you have a dog. And those are like house dogs, right? And you don't really train them to do anything. You might teach them like sit and down and stuff like that, but they don't like go to work with your mom or dad or something, right? They just stay home and they're there for you to play with and stuff. So that's what Saber could have been, but they found a different job for him. And then we had Olga, and Olga was a really, really good dog, so they kept her at the seeing eye so that she could have puppies for the seeing eye, like Carmella here. And then we had Ilka. Ilka was a golden retriever, like on the cover there, and she went back pretty recently. She went back December 30th. And she's in training right now, and they're training her to be a seeing eye dog. It's sort of like we get them for elementary school, and then they go to college, and if they pass college, then they can work and be a guide dog, sort of like that. And so while the dog is with us, we have some certain things that we have to do. I told you how we had to train her certain commands. It is, so she would never really try and get it. And also, she's not allowed in the furniture, because if the blind person doesn't want the dog on the furniture, it'd be really hard for them to break. And also, they take the dog on buses, and we've been on different field trips that we take our dogs to be able to get them used to the different places. And Olga, her mom, she actually got to sit in first class on an airplane. But we didn't go anywhere. We just got to sit on the plane. And so the dog has to sit underneath the seat. And so, like, if you were sitting here and, like, you guys were on a bus or something, Carmella would be sitting right here, right underneath you, right by your legs. And so if she were trying to jump up on the seat, that wouldn't be very good either. So we train her not to go up on the seat. And there's other special things that we have to do with her. The seeing eye pays for all the vet bills. We told us the vet is an animal doctor. And we don't have to pay for her food. We get money to pay for her food. And if we have to put her in the kennel, then that's what a kennel is. That's a kind of hard word.
Like you shake something out?
No, but that was a good guess. A kennel is, I have a picture in here. I have the picture of the seeing eye kennel. That's a kennel. Each dog has a separate little room, sort of, and it can go outside and has an indoor room. And they keep lots of dogs there. And so, like, if we were going to go away on vacation, you might put your dog maybe in a kennel. Yeah, there's another picture of the kennel somewhere. And so we don't have to pay for that. It costs money to put your dog in the kennel, but we don't have to pay for that. And there's also special things that we have to do with our seeing eye puppy. We have to give them special medicine. This is HeartGuard. It keeps her healthy and keeps her heart healthy. We have to give her that once a month, so she got it April 1st.
Cool.
And we have to give her stuff that's called Frontline. This keeps her from getting fleas and stuff.
Cool. That's cool.
That keeps her from getting fleas. Because she goes with us a lot of places, and it wouldn't be good if she had fleas. Maybe some of your dogs at home, you probably give them something to prevent them from having fleas. And you have to clean her ears. She really does not like getting her ears cleaned. I'm not sure.
My
why.
dog does.
Your dog likes it? I don't know, maybe it's itchy to her or something, but she doesn't. She shakes her head off
What
to
is
clean
it?
her ears.
Awesome.
I don't know. It's special liquid that keeps her ears clean and healthy. Because she needs to be able to hear.
She doesn't
Very
like it a
well.
lot.
Nah, it doesn't hurt her or anything. She just, I don't know. Maybe she can. I'm not sure. And I have to
Oh, she
brush
thinks
her.
it tickles.
I have to brush her with the brush.
Where's the black?
I brush her right here. You think I did a good job with her today? I brushed her this morning. Did I get her all nice and shiny for you guys? Yeah?
Mm.
Okay, what's something that you guys have to do to take care of your teeth? You have to brush your teeth. Both girls and boys, and there's different clubs, and each club has a different project. There's like the rabbit club, and they have rabbits, and there's the goat club, and lots of horse clubs, and I'm in Puppy Power. That's the name of our club. And our project is the Seeing Eye Project, the Puppy Project, raising Seeing Eye dogs. And so we get together twice a month, and we train the dogs. We start out, okay, you gotta get up from your nap. Wake up time. You gotta demonstrate. Here, let's sit.
Esther, Mrs. Heising would like to pet her.
Oh, okay. Carmella.
Carmella wants to wake up.
Carmetti. Good girl. Let me just walk her around for a second. Carmella, forward so you can wake up. Forward. Good girl. Carmella, sit. Okay, so your teacher's gonna come and pet her. Let's see how she does, okay?
Let's smell. So cute.
Okay, well, she sort of did it right, but she got a few things wrong. Can any of you think of maybe what she should have done?
I didn't see it.
When she petted, what maybe the first thing that she should have done? She came up and petted Carmella. What was the first say?
Get used to the dog.
Well, she did. She put her hand up for her to smell. But that's another thing that you definitely have to do. But you know what? She didn't ask me.
Oh, you need to own the dog.
Yeah, you need to ask the owner if you can pet the dog. And so, normally what you would need to do is you would need to go up and ask if you could pet the dog. And then if the person says yes, then you could pet the dog just like she did, how you have to come up quietly, let them sniff their hand, and then pet you. If you just came running up to the puppy and you go, oh, puppy, 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 and you went and like petted the dog and everything, look at, she picked up her head now. That got her a little bit excited, except she's being lazy right now. And actually though, even though it sort of feels like she's being lazy, she's actually doing the exact thing that I want her to do. Sort of, except for I want her to sit. Because this is what she would have to do is, if there's some people who are teachers, like your teachers are, and they work in schools and they're blind. And so when they're standing up and teaching you something, the dog just has to lay there and be good and be quiet. Or if people work in an office, they need to just lay there and be quiet. And so that's what she's doing. She's doing a pretty good job. And so you need to ask the person, and then you need to come up calmly and pet the dog. Sometimes if you go up to okay, I had a really tough question for you, okay? If this dog was a full guide dog, because she's not right now, but if she were a full guide dog, and she had her harness on, you knew the person was blind, and she's been through all this training, and we train her not to bite, and she knows not to jump, and we train her all this stuff, you think it's okay to go right up and pet the dog?
No.
No, you're right, it's not. You need to ask the person, because if your mom was driving the car, and you took the steering wheel away from your mom and you started driving, would that be safe?
No.
No, it wouldn't. What would maybe happen? You
Crash.
You can crash, right. Well, this is sort of like the steering wheel for them. And if she gets distracted or confused by someone coming up and petting her or something, without her thinking that it would happen, then she could get distracted and that could put you in danger, the dog in danger, the blind person in danger. It's really important that you ask. You can come out and sit. So I'm going to show you guys some of the things that we have to teach our dog to do, if she'll do them. Okay, so you saw down. I'm not going to do that again. Come up. Okay, I need you guys, can you all put your hands flat on your desk? Okay, I need you guys to keep your hands there, okay? She's going to come around. Are any of you afraid of dogs?
No.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of
My
dogs.
friend's dog.
Okay, so I'm going to come and I'm going to walk her around a little, okay? But I need you not to pet her, okay? You got to keep your hands on your desk.
Find my
You're back
button.
down again, you silly. Come on, Gabby. Come. Good girl. Okay, come out. Forward. Back to teacher, forward. A lot of dogs forward, Carmella, they get taught to heel maybe, Carmella forward. She's not really doing that great of a job right now, but normally she would be walking right in front of me. Can you see how on this shirt, Carmella, sit. Good girl. Carmella, back. Can't really tell, but here's the man's leg. And here, can you see the man's leg right there? But there's the dog. The dog is in front of the man. Do you think when people technically teach their dog to heel, the dog's nose is supposed to be right there. Do you think that she could guide me if she was like that and I was in front of her?
Yeah.
No, not really. So that's why we teach them to stand forward instead of heel, because she has to be there instead of there. So she wasn't, I'll try that again. She's kind of, come on, forward. This is a long day for her. Forward. Hop up, hop up, hop up. I'm trying to tell her to hop up, and that means go faster. Forward. Good girl, Carmella, sit. What a good girl. Good girl. Did I give her a biscuit for that?
Yeah.
Or a dog cookie? Did I?
No.
No, give
No,
her
I
a
didn't feed her
biscuit.
anything, did I? What did I do to her? What did I
You
I hugged her and I petted her and I told her she was a very good girl. And so that's when the dogs work, that's all they work for. They work for love. And so if everyone was coming up and petting the dog, do you think maybe the dog would want to work anymore? She already got her reward. So that's why sometimes if you go up to a blind person and they say no, you can't pet them, it's not because they don't like you or they're really mean. It's because then maybe their dog wouldn't really want to work for them. So some people will, but sometimes they won't let you. And so we have to teach her those commands, and also we have to take her different places. We have to get her used to different noises. One of the sounds that a lot of the dogs didn't know was clapping, the sound of clapping. They would get up and they would get startled and scared. So a lot of times, sometimes in cars, like when cars make lots of noises. So we have to take her to lots of different places to get them used to all those different noises. We were walking around in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, and they were building something, or I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were tearing something down, and there was a big hammer that was banging against this metal post in the ground. And all the other dogs that were regular dogs were walking around and stuff, and they were getting scared and barking and getting all frightened. Some of the owners actually had to pick their dogs up and walk them away from that sound because they were getting so scared. But you know what? We took our seeing eye puppies from Puppy Power, and they just walked right on through. They didn't bark, they didn't get scared, they just stayed forward and they listened to us. Because that's good. We have to get them used to those different sounds, because if she got scared, then she couldn't pay attention to keeping her blind person safe. But she's not allowed everywhere. When a blind person is with their fully trained guide dog when they graduate, then they're allowed to go anywhere a normal person is allowed to go with their dog. The dog is allowed access to that place. But when we came here today, we had to ask if we could bring our dog, because she's not a full dog, and she's full guide dog. And she still makes mistakes sometimes, and we have to ask before we go into stores. Pretty soon we're going to be walking around the Lacey Mall area by the ShopRite and stuff, and we're going to have to ask the stores before we go in if we can bring our dog in. But a lot of places do let us bring our dogs in because it's good experience and good training for them. And if they're not in the stores now while we can still train them, then they might not act good when they have to allow the dogs into the stores. So it's important that a lot of places let us in. And pretty much all libraries, we don't have to ask anymore. They just let us in because we do so many demonstrations for them. And there's no questions? None? You guys are being really good.
I have a question. You say Carmella has to graduate and go on to college. Is there a transition between you and the next trainer that she'll have?
Yes, there is sort of. For a while, she'll be in, when she goes to the kennel, she goes through a quarantine time where, she still is around people and stuff, but she's not around the other dogs.
Oh, that's wrong, no.
What?
When she gets picked, I'm sorry, because I asked Kathy.
She is around the other dogs. Okay. She's quarantined from, the from the breeding dogs and different things like that. But they'll keep her, and there'll be a separate time. She won't get placed with the trainer for a while. The trainer they call them a string of dogs. The trainer, in here you can only see them with one dog, but there's a picture when he's getting into the car, and they walk around. The seeing Eye's located in Morristown, and see how you can see all those dogs around that trainer? Those are his string. They call it a string of dogs that he's training at one time. Sort of like how you guys are all in this class. And so he'll train those dogs, and he takes them and like he'll put them in the car with him, and he'll go and he'll get one dog out of its crate and train that, and then put the dog back, and then go and get a different one. And so there's a time when they have to wait until there's a trainer free that needs a group of dogs, and then they'll take them for that. And then after they go through about, I'm not sure how many months of training, I forget, with the trainer to be a guide dog. And then blind people come from all over the United States, you can see on the map, and from Canada. See how Carmella dressed? Mexico's down here, but Canada is up there. And so people from Canada and the United States all get flown in to New Jersey, you can't see it, but it's right up there. The Seeing Eye pays for them to be flown in, and they pick them up from the airport, and they stay at the Seeing Eye for 3 weeks, and they learn how to use their dog, learn how to act around their dog.
Take care of their dog.
Take care of the dog. It's really hard sometimes for them to learn how to put the harness on because they can't see. So they get trained how to do that and different things like that. Just like how the dog has to get trained, the person has to get trained how to use the dog. Just like your parents had to pass like a driver's test to know how to drive, they had to do that to learn how to use their dog. And so they'll work with the dog for 3 weeks, and then them and their dog go back to wherever they live, and that's where they stay. So there's a time period, so when the dog gets to be with the blind person, first it's attached itself to, because we only get them when they're 7 weeks old, so for 7 weeks they've been with the breeding staff, and then they come to us, and then they go to the kennel, and they get attached to the kennel staff, and then they get attached to their trainer, and then finally their blind person, and then after it's with their blind person, then that's the last switch that they have to make. So that's a lot of moves for them. So when they get to be for their blind person, they need that 3 weeks to learn how to really get connected with that person because they've been separated a lot, so it takes them a little bit. But hopefully she'll be
Maybe the blind person is not connected with a certain dog, like personality.
Yeah, there's a lot of times when sometimes that won't happen, and they'll try them with another dog, or they may not have a dog that's available to them right now, and so then they might have to leave. And sometimes they have really good dogs. Like there was this one dog, his name was Dagmar, and he was this huge Labrador retriever. He was really big. And no, actually he was a golden. Dagmar was a golden. So anyway, he was a golden, like on the cover. And he was a really nice dog, and he knew all the commands, but they needed a big, strong guy to be able to work this dog because he pulled a little bit too hard, and he was too much for a small person to control. So, and they couldn't find a blind person that was right for Dagmar. So Dagmar got placed with a different family, and he became a house dog.
What?
It's like your dog's at home. Like your dog is a house dog. It stays in your house and you can play with your dog and stuff. Because he became a regular dog. Because they couldn't find a blind person that could use him. But he was still really good dog.
Reflection.
Would you guys give